Dinner for two. But I wasn't invited. I used to believe love was the safest place in the world, a fortress where trust guarded every door and intimacy lit every room. With her, that belief wasn't just an idea, it was my reality. She was the kind of woman who carried warmth in her smile, whose laughter could wash away even the darkest of my days. In the beginning, every dinner, every late-night conversation, every moment wrapped in her arms felt like a promise that life had finally given me a home. We used to sit in restaurants for hours, lost in each other's eyes, whispering dreams across candlelit tables, while the rest of the world blurred into silence. I remember how she would play with my hand beneath the tablecloth, her touch sending waves of electricity through me. How she leaned in so close I could smell the sweetness of her perfume, mixed with the faint taste of wine on her lips. Those nights weren't just meals. They were confessions, prayers, pieces of our souls stitched together in soft whispers and lingering glances. Love with her wasn't just passion, it was faith, and I gave it everything. But love is never immune to shadows. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, I began to feel the distance settle in. The texts that came later and later, the evenings she claimed were tied to deadlines and meetings, the way she brushed off intimacy as exhaustion, offering me a polite kiss while her body curled away from mine. I told myself it was just life, stress, a passing storm. I clung to hope, convincing myself that we were still us, that the love we had built was too strong to collapse. But the truth has a way of cutting through illusions, sharp and merciless, and on that night, it carved me open. She said she was going to dinner with colleagues, just a casual work gathering, nothing important. Yet something in her voice trembled, a fracture too small for most to notice, but big enough for me to feel in the pit of my chest. I drove, not because I didn't trust her, but because I couldn't silence the dread that had begun to whisper louder than her promises. And there it was, the restaurant that had once been ours, glowing warmly against the night, filled with laughter, clinking glasses, and memories we had created together. My hands trembled on the wheel as I sat there, my heart pounding like a prisoner begging for release. I told myself I'd just peek, just reassure my foolish fears. But when my eyes found her, framed by candlelight, leaning forward with that same radiant smile she once saved only for me, my world shattered into silence. She wasn't alone. She wasn't with colleagues. She wasn't mine. She was his. That moment branded me with a pain words can barely touch. From the window, I saw her hand resting on his across the table, fingers entwined like a lock she'd thrown the key to long ago. The way she laughed, God, the way she laughed, wasn't tired or forced. It was alive, a melody she hadn't sung for me in months. Her eyes glowed in that soft, familiar way, the way she used to look at me when we were just two dreamers mapping out a future over dessert. She leaned in, brushing a stray hair from her face, her lips parting as if every word spoken was a secret meant only for him. And then came the final blow, the kiss, tender and unhurried, as if the world itself bowed away to give them space. It wasn't lust, it wasn't a mistake, it was love, or at least the kind of love she no longer shared with me. My chest caved in, my breath caught between rage and despair as the realization sank deep. I was outside watching through glass, while the woman I had built my life around gave her soul to someone else. Everything we had, the late nights of passion, the whispered promises, the trust I thought unshakable, crumbled in that one cruel moment. Betrayal isn't just about bodies. It's about the heart, about watching the person you believed was yours rewrite the story of us with another's name. I wanted to storm inside, to scream, to demand why, but my feet were heavy, cemented by heartbreak. Because deep down, I already knew the answer. Love, once vibrant, had bled out quietly, and she had buried me long before that dinner. The hardest part wasn't losing her, it was realizing she was already gone, and I was the only one who hadn't noticed. That night, as I drove away with tears clouding the road, one truth seared itself into me forever. Sometimes betrayal doesn't come with slammed doors or shouted lies. It comes with a candlelit dinner, a table for two, and a seat that was never meant for you.